Hello and welcome to Future Perfect Tech Shorts. I'm Tony Velasquez. The non-stop rains recently reminded us how important it is to be prepared for emergencies and how access to information can help us. Inspired by a flood that affected him, one of our guests tonight, Vince Loremia, decided to build an app called Tudlo that would help him during times of calamity. Our other guest tonight, Earl Valencia, is the president and co-founder of Ideaspace Foundation. It's a non-profit incubator for startups like Tudlo. So Vincent, Earl, thanks very much for coming over to Future Perfect. Hindi naman kayo binaha on the way here.
No, but there was a lot of rain.
There was a lot of rain, obviously. Wait, Vince, you flew in from
Cebu.
From Cebu. Oh,
just for the show.
Just for the show. Thank you very much for taking the time to fly out here. Now, Tudlo was actually, as I read, the winner of competition from last year, no, para a social good competition. How many of you were actually picked out from that round?
For the Smart Dev Hackathon, we were the best disaster and emergency app. And
so the category done, the best
category.
Disaster app.
For 2012.
2012.
Right.
Okay. Were there other app developers who were also competing at that time who developed apps for disasters?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Why did your particular app stand out among the rest? I mean, according to the judges, of course. Yeah.
As for us, because it's complete, we have the UI,
the user interface,
and we integrated with the Smart API SMS.
Okay.
So that's the criteria. So that's why we won.
All right. Of course, Ideaspace was behind that incubator for Tudlo. At that particular time, was there a focus or an emphasis on disaster preparedness apps, or bahala na yung developers?
Yeah, interesting enough, we really tried to look for what are the best types of ideas in the Philippines. And one of the biggest criteria for us is what is the need of the country.
The need.
Yes, and of course, you know, we're always with disasters.
Disaster prone.
We're one of the most disaster prone countries in the world. Yeah. And then when Vince kind of proposed to us Tudlo, we said, you know, this is something that I think the country needs. Actually, maybe not just the Philippines, but the world needs.
Okay, so we'll go into more into the app a little bit later. So Tudlo is actually a Cebuano word, is it?
Yes.
It's a Cebuano word. Okay, what does it mean?
It means teaches, guides, and points.
Okay,
it
so
also
it means three
finger.
things.
Right.
Teaches, guides, and points.
In Tagalog, it's turo.
Turo. So kunwari, ikaw may pork barrel ka, tinutudlo kita.
Yes.
Tama ba yun?
Yeah.
How do you use it? I mean, in Cebuano. I point at you, kunwari.
Itudluan tika.
Itudluan tika.
Yes.
Itudluan tika ti pork barrel.
Right.
Okay, pwede. But in this particular case, you said you want to point the users to where they should go during an emergency.
Yes, and to point all the reported events, disasters and emergencies.
All the reported events.
Right.
Okay. How many were you in developing this app? Was it just by yourself, or were you in a group?
No, we are in a team. We have user experience designer, and we have 2 web and mobile developers.
Okay. So of course, this was preliminary designed to be a mobile app. This is not a web-based app.
There is the web application.
Okay.
But
may counterpart yung web.
Yes.
Okay. So all right, we'll talk about the web, the mobile-based app, Tudlo.
Right.
So how long did it take you to conceptualize it and develop it through the DevNet competition?
We started out developing the app on September 29 for the Smart Dev Hackathon, and we continued it until...
That was last year?
Yeah, that was last year. And we continued it. Version 1 was released, and we're developing right now the version 2. And we're lucky that Albay, together with Smart, is getting our app for their disaster and emergency office. That's AppSimo.
Okay. Sa Albay ginagamit, hindi sa Cebu,
Yeah, but we're coming up with Cebu, next to Albay.
I see. Okay. Kasi sa bagay naman, when you talk about the vulnerability of the provinces to natural calamities, Albay is just ranked one of the highest.
They are called Vatican of Disasters.
Sama naman that's giving the Vatican a bad name. Okay. All right. So Tudlo is programmed to work on both iOS and Android devices, mobile devices. Right. Now, is there any particular difference between the two, or are they all similar?
They have same features. Right. Okay. We want to develop the two because it's the most viable and the most usable smartphones in the present.
Aray, umaaray na naman doon yung Windows 8 developers, yung BlackBerry OS.
Right. But we will be coming up with
Sabi
BlackBerry.
Napabuntong hininga si Earl. Sabi niya, wala naman. All right, how does Tudlo work? Let's go into the specifics. When the user,
Yeah.
okay, opens the app, can you show
Yes.
us? Can you show us?
Okay.
Okay. Sige. Show us na rin your PIN code para alam ko yung, para buksan yung phone mo. Delo.
No. No, it's simple.
Okay.
The users could see all the reported events.
Okay.
All right.
So will they show you all? That's the home screen.
The
of
home
the
screen
app.
of the app.
We'll show you all the reported events. Who reports these events?
These are from the barangay levels.
Barangay levels.
Okay.
So the barangays will be using the app,
Yes.
and they will be uploading these events,
Reported events.
through the app.
To the app.
Okay.
And then the AppSimo office would verify if it's really a fire or flood going on that area.
Okay. So itong pinapakita mo, Vince, are basically feeds coming from the Albay Provincial Emergency Management Office. Tama ba? Safety and Emergency Management
Yes,
Office.
yes.
AppSimo. So, for example, give us a closer look. Ano yung picture na kapo-post lang nila dyan? Looks like a closet.
No.
May pero fashion emergency ba yan? O,
It's my own post.
Okay.
We are at ANC channel.
Okay, that's a
Okay.
closet in the dressing room.
Yeah.
That's right. We have an emergency there.
Okay.
Okay.
So basically, you just put reported event. Just
Okay.
choose an event type.
Choose an
okay?
event type. So what are the options for event type?
There's typhoon, earthquake, eruption, and thunderstorm.
Obviously,
so these are the common.
Obviously, the
calamities.
ANC dressing room does not fall within any of those four
Yes,
categories,
okay.
so we'll have to make a fifth one.
And
a
then
fashion emergency.
it automatically gets your location,
Okay, so
okay.
using GPS.
GPS,
Okay.
and you can add a photo.
All right,
So
which,
your
which has
camera-
been done.
Yes,
Yeah, the photo.
right.
Okay, so basically, anyone who now uses that app can upload events
Right.
through the app.
Yes.
So that other users will see what's happening around
Okay,
them.
right.
Okay, so what other features are there?
There are tools like safety tips, siren, flashlight,
Okay.
strobe light, compass, and I am safe to know that you are safe.
Okay. Of course, we know the flashlight app, very typical
Right.
of Android phones.
Yes.
Just recently, iOS 7 added it to their own feature. So your strobe light uses also the light on the flash,
Right.
LED flash of the phone.
Yes.
Okay, can you demonstrate it? Can you use
Yeah,
the strobe
sure.
light? Okay, just point it a little to the camera and see how it strobes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's low.
it blinks in intervals lang.
Yes.
Okay, that's supposed to be parang a warning light or maybe an SOS light.
Right.
For people who might need help. Okay. So what else are the tools? May compass. What is the other one? I am
Safe.
safe.
It will text your family members or your friends that you are safe on the ground.
Okay. So ano yun, you have to program the app
It mo-
to know which phones it should contact
Yes.
when you use the I am safe
Right.
function.
So it automatically gets your location and it texts your family and friends.
So isang pindot lang, it will send a text
Right.
blast to the numbers. How many numbers can you program to it?
Either 5 to 10 numbers right now. We're testing 5 to 10 numbers,
5
but
to 10
it could move up.
Okay. Okay, sige. So, maganda rin yun because hindi mo na hanapin sa directory mo pa
Correct,
kung
yes.
sino yung tatawagan mo. Isang pindutan na lang.
Right.
And the siren, how does that work?
Yeah, I'll turn it down.
Sige, put the volume up.
So just
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
Just turn it
So
on.
that's also useful, say for example, na-trap ka
Right.
sa loob ng building, di ba? Then you can activate that and it will give an audible warning to rescuers kung nasaan ka.
right.
Kasi iba, di ba sinasabi nila, parang part of your emergency kit, dapat may pito ka eh. Baka
Correct.
sakaling
That's right.
matrap ka, di ba, merong nag-collapse, merong natabunan, at least may pito ka, magagamit mo yun to signal where your location
Correct.
is.
So,
ito app na talaga mismo.
We're
na-
making the mobile app as a tool
okay.
for emergencies.
All right. So how, aside from the if other features, ano pa meron?
There are emergency numbers that you don't need to memorize. So all the barangay levels, municipal, cities, Red Cross are all here.
So you program that
PNP.
into the app
Right.
already.
Okay. And then
Can you edit the numbers?
for now, no.
So the user can edit the numbers.
Yep.
Okay.
And then there are feeds coming from DSWD and the RMC government agencies.
Feeds
FIVOX,
from their social media?
yeah.
Okay,
Twitter,
so what accounts are those? Are
specifically.
those Twitter accounts
Yeah,
or Facebook
Twitter
accounts?
Twitter
accounts.
Yep.
Okay. So you get the feeds from the relevant agencies. Okay,
Yeah.
so ayan, you have FIVOX. Yeah. Okay.
And
so
then
you
we
got-
have DSWD.
Okay, there's WD. So, you know, when we started out, we were talking lang about disasters in relation to natural calamities, no?
Yes.
Like the weather. What about disasters that are man-made? For example, the conflict in Zamboanga. I mean, that's a humanitarian disaster because there are more than 100,000 people who have been displaced by the fighting between the MNLF and government troops. Can an app like Tudlo also address that kind of disaster?
Yeah, I think, for example, it's really out the point. And a lot of times, what we realize when we talk to Vince is during these types of even man-made disasters, you actually don't know what to do. There's a sense of panic, even if you're really calm. And things like this, which is maybe to even teach you, even beforehand, what to do, where to go. These are actually quite useful things in these types of crazy situations,
Yeah,
honestly.
but I have to ask you, and honestly, when you talk about the availability of mobile devices and just how, just how affordable they've become just recently with the introduction of low-cost Philippine-branded phones, would this kind of app be useful for a majority of people if they don't have the kind of, the basic equipment, say a decent mobile phone? Ano ba ang lowest specs na pwede for the app?
For the Android, we already tested it with Star Mobile Gold.
Okay.
So
anong specs nun? Is it dual core?
dual core would do.
Okay, dual core dapat.
Yeah.
Hindi pwede nang lower na dual core.
No.
Wala na yung mga single core phones.
Because the tools would not turn on, like Compass.
Because you need a processing power then.
Yes.
To actually run all of the functions in the app. So my question is, how useful will the app be if you cannot propagate it to a lot of people? Say in Zamboanga, baka naman karamihan doon may cellphone nga, pero yung the usual feature phone lang na hindi pa siya smartphone.
Yeah, I think in general, Tudlo is the start, right? It is a framework that I think he's guiding his principles on. But this is not the end. No? I mean, in general, let's start with this because this is maybe the low-hanging fruit. We'll look at the features, and then when we learn, then let's look at how do we actually give it to more people, maybe through just SMS, maybe it's a certain thing, right? I think that's how we should build also certain technologies. Let's pilot it in a certain way, and then let's propagate it to more people. But the trend is what you're saying is correct. More and more people are getting access to smartphones at lower cost. So we also have to kind of plan for that because there's just more things that you could do with a smartphone.
Okay.
Now.
So Ideaspace itself, of course, you work every year with developers coming up with new ideas. What are you working on this year?
Yeah, so actually we'll start our competition again starting next month, and the deadline's next January. Actually, Vince was one of the finalists, bested close to 700 applicants to be called one of the best, I guess, ideas in the Philippines.
Yeah.
So we're really looking for things that we need, particularly when you talk about disasters. One comes to mind is the impact on agriculture, right? So even when I was in the US in TechCrunch, they talked about soil IQ. Can we think about how to monitor the quality of the soil? Because we don't know that actually when these flash floods come, it actually could degrade the soil very much that you cannot plant crops there anymore. So how do you put these things there? How do you actually have devices looking at the weather? These are types of things that are often overlooked when we talk about technology and applications, but it has very big practical implications.
Actually, we did guest. I remember one lady who came over to guest Future Perfect. They're showing us an app that would actually give farmers some information, timely information as to when they should water their crops, when they should add fertilizer to the crops. So I guess they're using smart sensors to relay that information to the farmers using their phones. And I think it's an SMS-based service as well. So it works on simpler phones.
These types of trends are happening. Actually, even last year when we sponsored the IRI, the International Rice Institute kind of hackathon again, the one who won is literally a device that you'd know what the weather is. And it tells you, what type of...
But weather apps are a dime a dozen now.
So this is interesting because you think it's just the weather apps,
Yeah.
but it's actually a sensor-based weather app. So it tells you when to, when to do this, what's the impact actually of the weather to your crops.
Okay.
Because a 1-degree change actually changes the yield significantly.
So it's in fact already giving you a series of options to take
Correct.
based on the weather changes.
So it's about intelligence, right? So it's not just actually telling you now there's a weather disturbance. It's like, what is the impact now to you, right, as an individual, and maybe to you as a farmer.
I guess that's the as you said, Earl. The trend now is towards connectivity. I mean,
Correct.
everything is interconnected. I mean,
Correct.
Google now, of course, is actually working on the same principle where when you open your phone, Google now locates your knows your location, and it tells
Yes.
you, yeah, the weather in your area is like this. You may want to take the train instead of the bus because it's going to be flooded and stuff like that, right? Yeah. Gives you certain specific actions to take based on your location and immediate circumstances.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
All right, so agriculture apps, that's something that's now high on the priority.
Yeah, I think agriculture apps, obviously things that developing countries needs. Maybe it's based on education, but obviously things that will kind of connect us in general to even e-commerce, healthcare, right? I mean, and it's not just apps itself, but technologies like science-based things that actually will do it. Like maybe water purification is something that's high on the list, especially with disaster areas.
Definitely,
Right.
definitely. Interesting, huh? Because isabi mo, Albay muna, then Cebu muna, no? Where,
Correct.
of course, where you come from, and then hopefully it will be adapted by other LGUs.
Right.
Okay. Are there talks with the DILG on how to make this app, more accessible to the other local governments?
Right now, we're focused on Albay and Cebu, and hopefully, other LGUs will get the app.
Okay.
And the next is for tying up with devices like rain gauges. We
Yes,
talk about with DOST and other partners that
Which is like what Project NOAA does.
Correct.
Yeah.
And which also was developed through Ideaspace.
Ideaspace.
Correct.
Project
yeah.
NOAA. So all the sensors, the monitoring that will actually go into the Project NOAA app
Yep.
on the phone. All right. Well, of course, disasters will never cease,
No.
as long as the planet keeps on spinning. In the meantime, thank you very much for coming over. Earl Valencia from Ideaspace Foundation.
Thank you.
And of course, Tudlo,
Thank you so
the inventor ba tawag doon? Can you say it?
just
Developer.
call me co-founder.
Humble naman. Si Vince Loremia. Thank you. Coming all the way from Cebu.
Thank you.
And coming up next, a look at the new Microsoft Surface tablets, Apple's new operating system, and another new smartphone on the market when Future Perfect Tech Shorts returns.